Well, you never know what comes up. It's kind of amazing.
He's like a ball, just like him, and then there's the Michelin guy. I don't know what the Michelin guy is.
He's just a big tire. He's like a stiff puff marshmallow man.
I just have the mic, so I'm not starting now.
You're the moderator.
I'm the moderator today. I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank Hockey for Makers of Hockey for sponsoring us. I'm not gonna. Should I start this party? Yeah, we're late, so I'm gonna start this party. We're gonna just pass the mic. Yeah, I'll let Lisa start. Here it is.
I just figured we'd all. What?
We don't have a lot.
Do you like pass the mic and turn it off?
No.
I'm so kidding. It's just
You get like a lounge thing.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Did you wait?
I figured most of you may know who we are, you may not. My name is Lisa Ortiz. You probably know me. I've worked on, I've done Lena Inversement Players, D-Lit and Lotus Wars, recently Nautica in Magic Users Club, Shiori, and Lucina, and I worked on Pokemon and a couple of other jazzy. So, and I'm going to pass them along so you know who everybody is. You talk too much. That's Goku.
I would now have the mic. Hi, my name is Ron Chimmel, and I voice Goku, King Kai Nail, and a couple other tiny voices on the show. Dragon Ball Z. Mr. Takashi Yu Yu Hakusho, which hasn't come out yet. It's the president. Personal. Don't touch me. Oh, okay.
Bad touch.
And I don't know what they're airing here. I know they changed voices between the original Canadian cast and then went to the American cast. I don't know if they've gone back. I know you can get our videotapes here still, so you might be hearing me, or you might be hearing Ian Corlett, Peter Clown, or Kirby Morrow. So I don't know. So I hope that you at least get some of the word. Otherwise, being here, that was the point. That's the mic I'm doing.
That's cute, I'll know. Hi, is this on? Hello? Hi, I'm Amanda Wynn Lee, and I did Momichi and Lucy, I did Rio and Bird of W, I did Ray and Evangelion, I did... I did Rally Vincent, Guns with Cats, I did Galleon, Battle Angel, I did Yoko, Devil Hunter Yoko, and a couple other ones that I just don't, I'm drawing a blank.
And you did Jason.
Oh!
I just remember from last year.
Oh, he's
Anyway,
oh, yeah.
no, I know, I do.
That was our joke from
Yeah, but you stole my material, man. That's what made me mad. And now Jason and I have our own company called Gaijin Productions. We just finished producing, directing, and writing the Evangelion movie, the dub, which are... And now we're working on Bird of Success in conjunction with PTV Productions, and we're going to be doing Rio and Fuji again. We read those scripts, and yeah, we're anime whores.
I'm not Jason Lee, not Jason Wynn Lee, not the guy. Yeah, I get that a lot.
I saw your Bruce Lee story.
Bruce Lee story. No, I'm not also the guy from Mallrats. I'm not that guy either, so. Thank you very much.
All right, that was right.
Usually people are really rabid over there. Man, dude, skateboarder. Oh, you're not that guy. Oh, so. Anyway, anime-wise, I've done the Kusanagi and Blue Seed. And Ava, I was Aoba. He's a small character, but he's mighty. Whatever that means. UG and Burn Up, W, and the new Excess coming out. What else? Rio, Homura, and Sweet Coating. There's a ton of them. What else?
Stoner and
Stoner, not a stoner, but like his name is Captain. Oh, do you have the sheet? Because I can't remember. Tell me what I've done. Actors never remember any, especially, oh, here we go.
It's not right in
Cool.
front of us, we're like, oh.
Yeah, it's like a script. Evangelion, you know what? Doesn't matter. Gunsmith cast story voices, so there you go. I was a narrator in Golden Boy. All right, awesome. Actually, one of my favorite one of all these was doing a voice in Gamera, Guardian of the Universe, because, you know, if nothing else, if my career goes to hell, I can watch a monster movie in the middle of the night and go, dude, I was somebody at some time. Exactly.
Hi, my name. Hi, my name is Keith. I work for Manga Entertainment. Actually, my first role was thanks to Amanda. I got shot in the face at Oni. Then I did Street Fighter Alpha. Then thanks to Megan, I was Huey in the Evangelion movies.
That's the good. I like that.
Okay, well, virus. And I had a small part in the movie. Did any of you guys see Pootie Tang? Nobody saw Pootie Tang? Okay, I was, no.
Is that like an anime?
Tell them it's a Jerry Springer show, dude.
Oh, I was the porn star of Jerry Springer. Thank you, my name is Black Stein. I do private shows.
I knew that was fake.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
you were
that's
fun.
it.
I thought you were him.
No, I was a porn star. Black Stein.
Oh, much fun.
And I got a full black silk outfit out of it, and I didn't return it.
Oh, yeah. Poor boy.
Hello, how y'all doing today?
We're okay.
Okay. My name's Doug Smith. I've done, everybody knows me for Golden Boy. Like Jason, I've done other ADV films as well. I was also in Gunsmith Cats. It was usually Jason or I dying in the films a lot. He would die, then I would die. He would die, then I would die.
Sometimes they die together.
We died together. And, beautiful. So, I was also Roger Plastic Little. I was the Dragon Knight in Dragon Knight. I was the guitarist in Bubblegum 2040, so, and I was Little Foley here in Slayers, and Cutie Honey, I was that crazy mad cat driver. Later gets, and Plastic Little, yeah. Roger! And Roger, yeah, and then see what else. Oh yeah, and I also done, a little bit of the Cutie Honey dub. I was that basketball player with the red hair. And then, I think it was, Those Who Hunt Elves, I was one of the villagers, and then later during the show, I was like, what is it, Sorcerer Hunters. I was the bomber guy on the beach. He only had maybe 1 or 2 lines, but that was it. And it was the episode with all the fireworks and everything. Oh yeah.
And then I played like a prince guy, just sitting in the throne, just watching this whole ball go on, and all of a sudden, what was his name, Marin, the guy in the white suit, comes out of the tank comes out of the ballroom floor, and he sees the girl that looks like he starts stripping down to see the tattoo, and I'm in there saving her, so that was the prince guy right there. But anyway, to make a long story short, I've done other various... Moving right along.
Yeah.
We run out of time.
Sorry.
Get Kristen in there.
Sugar, I was trying to pop right
Yeah,
back.
I wanted to say
Yes,
that
you
I
did.
wrote that irritating music with your... No, I'm kidding.
We like
Sorry,
it.
Kristen, go ahead.
That's all right. That's all right. I was hoping your line was only fair. Yeah, I'm Tristan McAvery, and I've done like 50 plus voices for various things. As Gendo in Evangelion. Thank you. And I was Cutie Honey. I was Grandpa Don Bay. In Slayer's motion picture, I was Joy Rock. I was reminded of being the demonic frog earlier. It was very irritating. That's all I did. Suikoden Demon Century, essentially, because I was in that one, and I was Mr. Yamamoto. And just, tons of everything. A couple of fun things in some of the Golden Boys. And I got to tell you this. Contrary to rumors, Doug and I did not do the Kogure corkscrew kiss scene together. We were
Recorded separately.
Yeah, it was recorded separately. So just so you know, because I get this question, what's Doug Smith really like?
But I think the love came through.
Oh, it did. It just...
It's horrifying me that
It's like communicating over an internet. What do you really like? Send me a picture.
So that, and I also got a chance to do a little writing and directing, which was a lot of fun, but this is about voice acting.
We'll start with that. Folks, what do you think? Want to field the question back down the aisle?
Yeah, just anything.
Rock.
Can somebody run next door and tell him to shut the fuck up?
At least close it or turn it down, or is this like the hotel music?
I don't know what that is.
It's Blood's Last Vampire.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
All right.
So, is your panel open up for questions?
Question?
Question?
What are you adjusting?
Not dating.
666.
That's
my room number.
Okay.
You're I'm not doing it. How many takes does it take to get it, usually?
Okay.
More than you think.
Takes to do a film. Okay. All right. To get a voice. Oh boy. I've got so many great stories about that. Can I tell a Jessica story since she's not here?
Sure.
I was directing Princess Minerva. It was my first time directing, and this is a voice actor story because the line is she's supposed to be challenging the Lady Death, known as Chiloria. And the whole joke was she kept not getting the line. The line was, Chiloria, come and fight me. She kept just skipping over this line, and she didn't know why. So after about 3 or 4 takes, she finally said, look, can I just do something and get out of my system? And I'm thinking, all right, whatever it is. So I'll tell the engineer, roll it. So finally, here comes the scene, and at the top of her voice, Jessica comes out, Chiloria! Excuse me, Clitoris, come and bite me! She took a big, well, that was the funny thing. She said it on, actually, that was the whole thing. She had to say that. She took a big deep breath, said, okay, I'm ready now. She got it, nailed it the next take. How many takes does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a good line? As many as it takes to get past the Freudian slips. Trust me on this one.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, for me?
Does everybody want to answer?
You want to from each of the voice actors up here?
Well,
Do you want to like a different answer? Or we can move along and go on to the next question.
Lisa wants to answer.
You want to answer the question?
Let's not maybe Lisa has something to say.
Okay, I want to answer the question. I have the conch.
Such do you rule, Piggy.
It totally depends. It totally depends. I mean, there's been times when I've gone in and you can go through like a half hour on one take. And then on one line you can spend a half hour. So I mean, it totally depends. It also depends how long you've done it. It's gotta lose. I don't know, but it depends. Sometimes you can really get it, and sometimes you just sometimes it's the stupidest thing that you can't do.
Like they'll pause in the middle of a sentence and you can't quite get the lip flap.
Right. or like you'll beam through like lots and lots of dialogue, and then there'll be like a 3-word sentence, and you're like, and suddenly you're like, you know what? Do you want to order lunch now?
I'd like to add to that a little bit. She's exactly right. Also, it makes a difference if you have a line that's mouth not shown, whereas the character's head's back is to yours, which is really easy, because then you can act any way you want, pretty much. And then if the mouth is moving, the problem is, where you run into problems is if you have an idea of how you want to read the line, and then the flaps are da, 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 and so you have to try to put that same kind of idea and emotion into flaps that were written for originals, in most cases a Japanese phrase that has been translated in English, and that can cause the take to go, anywhere from 1, 3, 10, 20,000 takes. I mean, I agree with Lisa.
One day is like slow down.
It also depends on whether or not you're drunk.
I actually have something to add. I think the worst Japanese dubs I've seen have not compared. We actually saw, oh god, I hope Vrishnikov's not here. We saw this thing, they're Russian cartoons that were brought into English, which is even funnier kind of matchup because, I mean, their pause is like, like they had like, what was Mickey Rooney?
Mickey Rooney.
Was this little narrator elf guy, and he would be like, and so the story of the snow angel,
But they all Christopher Walken. The story of the snow angel.
It's like they didn't even take into account, like, we can rewrite this sentence, so...
I don't think Mickey was.
Yeah. Anyway, I just had that.
But actually also the flip side of that is sometimes when we write the script, we sort of hear it in our head and being a certain way, and then you get the actor in the studio and they've got a totally different speed or different cadence or whatever to the line, so sometimes the perfect number of syllables still will be too long or too short, just depending on the actor. So your answer is, it depends. All right?
We could make it all simple, it depends.
The answer is, we're not telling.
You wanna,
Yes, you.
What are you saying, Matt? What are you saying? Are you saying no? No. Actually, I do. That's my answer.
The one in the back.
What, David? What?
No. Grunting is the fun part.
I'm not going there.
That 80% of my voice acting work involves grunting and screaming. Well known as a Dragon Ball Z fan. I don't know my colleagues here, but do I have difficulty? No. I mean, I usually just get a whole bunch of cheese for about a week. And I'm like, no, I'm kidding. That's actually the easiest part of actually getting lines right, getting. Thank you very much. Getting
Your nickname is Cheese Pants.
my name's Cheese Pants.
Down your back.
So I don't know about the other. Anybody else want to comment on whether or not it's difficult to grunt? Grunting?
I mean, my favorite story is, like, the only time I love doing the battle mode. That's why Officer Jess and I do a lot of video games, because it's a lot of kind of stuff. It's just very cathartic, especially if you're mad at someone that day. Awesome.
Don't listen to the wall.
Great stress relief.
The only time I've ever had a problem was when I was doing Battle Angel, and I had 102 fever, and I had an upper respiratory infection. And so the way we normally do it is we'll go through to the lines and then you do up the screams and grunts at the end, because that's so you don't rip up your vocal cords. And we did the first scream for the battle sequence, and Matt just hears this, and then he hears this like thump, and he looks up, and no Amanda, there's nobody there. I passed out and hit the floor of the booth because I couldn't breathe, but I was trying to do it by myself. That was the only time he kicked my butt.
Was that the alley scene where you decapitate a guy's head?
I think it's like, yeah, the first,
Yeah, that was my head you lopped off.
That serves her right, what you're saying.
Yeah.
I didn't have that too.
Well, my head hit the floor in the anime song.
To make it quick, I can do it now. Like now I can scream and grunt and all that stuff, and it's fairly easy. But when I first went in, when I first did Lotus, the first time that I got to scream, it was one of those times when you had like 20 second takes. I couldn't do it. And it was actually very embarrassing for me. From then I realized I was problem with releasing my anger. That's not the problem. No, it's not the problem now. But no, seriously, I couldn't do it. And I had to say, ah. And I couldn't do it. So they actually did it, and they finally, I actually went, okay, well, we'll just take that one. And I was like, and then at that time was the first job I ever worked on, and I was like, I'm coming home, I can't do anything. So now I beat people up on the subway.
Do you have other questions? Do we have who's picking?
Gentleman was over here.
Yeah, you were. We'll get you next. Okay. Sorry, dude. Go ahead.
Can we have a chance to go through this command now?
Fill it out.
You say no.
We ain't a dog and pony show, honey.
Don't hold it back.
You gotta do the motion too. Stand up.
I'm under contract. I cannot do a Kamehameha when audience members ask me. No, I'll do a brief Kamehameha. What? Oh, that's it. I didn't eat cheese this morning, so I can't do the. I'll do the short. I'll do the short. Not shorter than this intro. Shorter than this. I'm not nervous. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna let Jason do the Kamehameha. Okay, I'll do it. Ready? Okay. It's like all ready. There's a booth.
What would you do?
Another Kamehameha! And I have broken my voice like that. No, you can't scream break your voice. Don't snap out the puberty. I'm like, well, why not? And we were gonna take your question next. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but don't they have like a word fit program out these days to conform to like dubbing?
Excuse me?
Don't they have?
They do.
Yeah, they have like a
That's usually more for video games. I mean, the thing is, it's whether or not the studio's going to pay to redo all the lip flaps or whatever. Whereas normally we just get like the animation, and this is what we get, and we gotta make it fit, and we gotta make it fit.
Don't put on.
Tweet on the picture.
I was wondering, do you guys, when you get a script, do you get the full script so you know what's going to happen to the whole series or the whole season, or do you get
You get the full script.
The question was,
Is it a series?
you get the whole script, or the person has to do the whole script or pieces. And for me, I get the script right when I walk in the door. Chris is like, my voice director's like, oh, Sean. For those of you who know Chris Savage is pick up this episode number 215, what's your line? 60. But usually what I will do is I'll know what's going on beforehand because I voiced everything up to that point, and then I'll ask my director who's in charge of keeping track of what's going on, what is going on, tell me what's going on. Spend about 5 minutes telling me what's going on, get the character, then we go. So for me, no, I do not see, movie scripts I do see in advance, but everything else I don't know. What about you?
You know, Chris Savage says the same thing to me. Oh, shit, I'm not. Oh! It's the same thing. You know, I mean, I don't know. There's been times, some stuff that I've gotten the script beforehand and some stuff that I haven't. When we did Mousse, everybody got a copy of the script in the movie. Actually, I just did a show, which I did mention before, but there's another show that I'm going to call Now and Then, Here and There. They're really great, serious, cool, like, kind of like the Mac show. But we got the script and the movie from there. And then when I went in this week, I didn't put the name of the show I was working on. But I walked in and I was all thinking maybe the show Trauma, and I'm like, all right, and in the same studio, I'm like, hey, all right, and I have like what I call like a coffee voice. That means I can drink coffee with milk in the morning because I get to sound really low and grovelly, so it doesn't mess with my voice. Yeah, so I went in and I'm like, all right, that's great. I get to sound like a little boy today. I don't have to worry about anything. And then I was in the show. Oh, and I was like. And that's the end of my story.
We try as best we can to give the actors scripts ahead of time, just because I think that personally it makes for a more credible performance if they know what they're talking about. But there are some times when just because of time issues, we do have to sort of throw it out and we're really sorry.
But you don't have any kind of actual
Nope.
No, I mean, if an actor really would demand just a script so they can learn the role ahead of time, kind of get a feel what everybody else is going to say, sure. I mean, but a lot of people just, they work enough to where they don't, they usually don't have time to read the script, but it's a more turn and burn business than like a movie set where it takes forever to do anything. Anime, you're going to kind of go in and get the job done pretty quickly. So. Yeah, it's necessity.
Kristen, did you want to comment?
Yeah, I'd like to get one on that one.
The guy at the end of the table here.
There were two things. When I could be dead wrong about this, but the impression that I had was that when Evangelion was being recorded, Matt hadn't seen it all. Even I will say this: I do know that Matt Greenfield has said that he wishes he could go back and redo the first 4 episodes because there are things in there that would change in a very interesting way, lines that would change and deliveries that would change because of the way the thing ends up. So I'll go with that. On the other hand, when I was doing Those Who Hunt Elves, which is pretty episodic, I did the first 4 episodes, and I was able to get all 4 of my leads copies of the show and the script. And because of that, they were able to go and create characters, and that's what made all the difference. Andrew Klimko is Junpei. Half of the lines, especially the really good ones that pop out, that just sound like they're ad-libs, they are. He sat there making them up and making sure that they would fit. And I really owe a lot to him, to Jessica, who came up with these fabulous little bits of Foley for Celsia. When she was in the dog shape, because the elf turns into the dog shape and then can't get back, so she's stuck in this dog shape for the whole show. And it's so funny because you'll hear you know, Jessica doing these little things like, knock it off, you know, these little growls and grunts and things. And she created that, and she was able to create the character. When you can trust an actor and have the whole thing in advance, it makes such a world of difference. It's really outstanding. So when you can, yes, do that way.
Before I forget, let me grab the little guy over here, and then we'll grab Goku. Yes, what's your question, sir?
Yeah, what would probably be the most easier thing to be able to remember about doing Slayers? The place with gallery or the stone temptation?
Oh, the by gallery. I need to say that already before my. No, it's funny. It depends on different things. A lot of the spell incantations I do by that point, you know, with my heart. After you do after you do a whole bunch of episodes, and you just know the fine.
He did it.
I always take vulgar requests.
This is your fault.
You are.
Well, I'll tell a little. I'll just say I won't do the whole entire spell. Just do the dragon slave portion of the stream because there's a story behind it. They always make fun of me because when we go in, when I first saw the Japanese because I had watched along with it and I've never watched the Japanese tape. And you notice whenever I say dragon slave, I do say dragon slave, but it's always like an empty syllable at the end. I don't know if anybody notices that or cares.
Now they will.
Now you will. But the Japanese, when the Gumi did it, she had this other thing, and when we were doing the first season, we thought like a lot of the stuff that they did in the Japanese was really funny because they would suddenly spontaneously have English in it. Yep. So that was one of the words that was spontaneous English. So they have like the sound is different. So when the dragon slave, instead of just being dragon slave, says dragon slave. You don't know, so you might just think it's a thing, but she actually says slave at the end. And I think it's just there. If it's the first most sincere, I think it's funny.
I think the blast would cancel that out.
Well, it's funny. It also creates a flat that are in a lot of stuff. So I won't go through I won't suggest those because you know things might get decimated. And that's
Get your slave. Okay, about the script issue, have any of you ever bought or purchased the Japanese version just to write down the subtitles so you could get it ahead of time?
Well, I mean, first of all, I mean, like, if you ever wanted the Japanese, I mean, they would be providing for us. A lot of times I have gotten subtitle copies. You do get a copy of a lot. If you request it, you can get a copy of the subtitles, depending on what company you can get a copy of it. A lot of times what happens, though, is you have a subtitle copy of the script. It doesn't translate directly to what comes out of the dub. It doesn't fit. And secondly, it gives you an idea, but a lot of times it's straight translated.
I heard they slow down or speed up the footage a bit.
That's not true.
No.
That's
What we might do is in what software package called Pro Tools, you can do what's called time stretching or time crunching if it doesn't quite fit. So you can take a digital wave and you can, if it's not quite fitting, you can compress it or stretch it. Oh, you're talking about frame rate. Excuse me. I thought you were talking about I'm sorry.
You know, I mean,
yeah, well, that's about the same thing.
Yeah, you can get. I have like there has been stuff that you've run off past this one that I know about the series and I've looked up and looked at some people have analysis and things like that, but I would never go out and because I have respect for the translators who come along and do that. They have to do their job.
One more just directed at Goku. I was just wondering if you had a voice actor for Cooler yet.
A voice actor? Yes, Cooler has been cast, but I think in the Cooler movie, the voice actor you'll like the best is, you know, one of Cooler's henchmen, I can't remember his name. He's one of his main henchmen. We got an actual French guy. He's from France, and he has these, I can't even do it, he speaks French accent thing. He's just like, it sounds so cool, and he's like, just, when he says his evil lines, they're so good. So I think in the Cooler movie, you're going to love the French guy. But because French people are evil, you're going to like... You're gonna like Canada. You're gonna love the French guy probably better than although the guy who plays Cooler. Yes, Cooler has been cast. I don't know the name because I don't meet the other actors. And then to answer your previous question, I usually call Japan and I call Akira Toriyama and I just say, hey, yo, Akira, what's up? And he's like, yeah, have us on, and then he gives me the translation.
It's nice.
Nobody knows where Akira Toriyama is. That's the reason I said that. But that's the answer. Anybody else want to comment on the first question? Anyone?
I mean, mean, the only real experience we've had with that, never really the actors don't get those kind of scripts. When we produced the Ava movies, we got the original Japanese scripts. Here's an interesting fact. Those scripts aren't exactly what wound up on the screen for the original Japanese version. It was like...
It's like the first 4 minutes of the movie were ad-lib.
Yeah, just the script is ad-lib here. You know? What? What? Yeah, so you
Like 3 different
we had 3 different translators, had 3 different ideas on what you had to... Yeah, so it's, for the most part, you're going to kind of go you hire a translator and then somebody, a lot of us have done that work, cleans up the work there, makes it fit to the picture and everything, or even subtitle, but mainly for the dub, so, yeah. Anyway, next question. I know that's your one.
I got a question. I have no use for the ceremony. Anything ceremony. From what I managed to learn, I would really like to know how challenging the role of Rennie was for you to play.
I always joke that, Matt and I cast the other series that he wanted me to play, right? And when we were casting, I actually was like, oh, he's so kick-ass. But Allison Kate is actually a really, really good friend of mine. And she came in and did like 2 lines. I was like, never mind. Sorry, she's amazing. I'm done. But I always joke that Matt cast me as Ray because he wanted me to shut up. The space that I get into when I do Ray is the weirdest, creepiest little corner of my head that every once in a while I'll just be like, okay, we have to stop recording and someone has to tell me a joke because I really think I'm going to lose it. Yeah, it's a challenging role, but I love doing it.
And it was weird when we did the movies a couple months ago. Amanda, I would direct Amanda in the booth. I mean, she directs herself for the most part, and that's not a slam on her. She's just good at that stuff. But, I mean, she had a hard time getting back to Ray for a while because...
That's hard to find.
She was hard. I was like, no, that's a little too high, or that's too girly, and blah, 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 because, I mean, it's kind of a dark, place.
But how long was it for you from the last time that you had actually done that you had done what you were thinking after?
We finished in 97, right?
Christmas
of 97, and then we just did the recording.
So Christmas was kind of like, I know that for me, when I had gone through a gap of 2 years and then go back to the character, it's difficult to find it. So that's a character like that was really, really difficult for you.
I mean, there's some characters like Momiji, or if they ever do,
Sorry, I'm just curious.
If they ever do Lucy cartoons, then I know, the thing is though, Momiji is me when I was 14, just this total sad girl, so that's what I'm into. It's just seriously, Ray is a really dark, scary corner of my mind, and it's I'm sitting here, processing stack paperwork, and I'm doing actors, and we're working on the payroll, we're doing this and that, and it's I have to go in and, go find the scary corner of my mind, and it's it took me a while, but once I honed back into her.
That's good. I never got a dark impression.
She's supposed to be
Maybe you were listening.
She's supposed to be an angel, you know.
No, I mean it's Ray is sort of the character that I do for Ray is a combination of the futility of knowing that she's a clone and that she's expendable, that if she dies, that there is another one that will replace her and it's no big deal. But on the other hand, she is human, and she is a 14-year-old girl with all the weird insecurities and messed up feelings that come along with that. Plus, she's part angel, so that's another just screwed up corner. Lilith is an angel, honey. Don't make me kick your ass. You have no idea how much fucking research I've done. Seriously.
I'll take you down to China.
That's another question.
Not correcting.
Take a question. I'll ask you in private. Anybody who has worked on there.
What?
I'm just curious to see what problems you have with that, going back.
Going back to the character.
Yeah. But
No, go ahead.
Question.
Golden Boy.
Yes.
Golden Boy was riding his bike so fast.
Okay. What was I heard the last part. I didn't hear that tail end of that question.
He passes Ferraris and high sports cars on the road on his pedal bike.
Right.
How does he do that?
It's basically reading it really fast and matching it. See, it's funny too because sometimes the lip flaps did not go with it, so I was going faster than the actual the lip flap of the actual animation. So when I would go, you know, it just kept going so fast that when you watch it, it's going like this, and I'm going 3 times faster than that.
So, you tell her how to get you a character.
Yes. Oh, jeez. Amanda comes up to me, and I'm working in the art department at ADV because I was doing graphic design. And that's how they found me and put me in films. So basically, to a short story, Amanda comes up, throws up like a pair of Hostess cakes and a Coke, and says, "Eat this. We're going to record in 15 minutes."
By the time we get him in the studio, he's like.
I'm in there, I'm like at the highest sugar rush. Okay, let's go. So, yeah, that to answer your question, that's how I did the fast bike scene going down the hill. So, who's had their hand up first? I guess
someone who hasn't had a question. Like,
someone who hasn't had a question yet. You and the wanted
My question is, whenever you guys get anime ahead of time, I know sometimes you study the original Japanese to get an idea for the voice of the character you're doing, but if an anime's already been dubbed in another country, like say it's in Spanish, to get those movies as well to like check and see their spin on the character?
No. We usually go by one version, maybe Japanese at the most.
And there's only one voice actor in Mexico. He does everything. Like, oh, they kind of go.
The girl has her hand up.
The card captor girl.
How did you guys get started in voice acting?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Start over there.
There you go.
Okay, in some ways I'm actually Tiffany Grant's fault, which can be taken several ways. In August of '95, I'd gone back to Houston after long nose, never mind, we'll talk about it later. And yes, Houston does have a problem now. I wanted to do voice acting of some kind, found an agent, Michael Young, who, he was really terrific. He said, "I loved your voice demo, you have a lot of talent, I have no idea what to do with you." That's exactly his words. And for about a year I was doing some audio commercials and so forth. Tiffany works for Michael, and she said, "Well, why don't you try over at AD Vision, they do Japanese anime and so forth." So I did an audition, walked into ADV, about 20 minutes after I was supposed to be there, this really like scraggly furry thing walks in with no sleep, and it was Matt Greenfield. And Matt was on a bender trying to get something done, which happens a lot, when you get under pressure. So he kind of staggers in, he hands me this script, and no direction, just start reading a line. Then he starts honing me down to what he wanted, and so I gave him what he wanted, and he said, "Yeah, okay, we can do that." So that was Tachibana in Super Atragon. And so I did Tachibana and several other voices, and then when we were through with that session, he said, "Are you busy tomorrow?" I said, "Not anymore." And so I went in and I did Suikoden, I did Mr. Yamamoto for that one. And then it was almost directly after that Evangelion showed up. And, the rest is history, or at least hysteria. And cross your fingers, I'm working on a book which I'm calling Confessions of an American Seiyu, which I hope to bring out in the summer, and you'll hear all about it, trust me. There you go.
I think my story is different, and Keith is very similar to mine as well. So we broke into it pretty much by being around where the voice acting happens.
I'm sorry, I thought you were going to say you broke into the studio.
I didn't have to break in, I was already there. I was already there. But anyway, I'm a graphic designer more than I was a voice actor. I didn't even think about becoming a voice actor. And voice acting kind of happened it just happened one day, and just boom, and then I ended up liking it. So basically the first time around was just screaming and dying. That's what we called it, screaming and dying session. Because Matt Greenfield would come in, and he'd finish with a film and ask, "I need some filler-in voices to do crowd scene and people dying." And so to ask that question earlier, is dying and screaming, in a scene hard, it's actually a lot of fun. Because you get to see a character and you go, "Wah!" It's hilarious. But I did that a lot, and then one day when we were watching Golden Boy for the first time, we were watching a screener of it. We all just died, laughed, and watched. Everybody's pointing, "That's so you, that's so you." And Matt, after having me in all these different little scream and die sessions, was like, that'd be kind of interesting to see what he could do in the booth as a main lead for a voice role. And so he kind of came up to me, approached me with it. "Would you like to do it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll give it a crack." And got in there, was nervous as heck, and
before you know it, I'm doing the voice, and I'm getting a lot of great responses, and it makes me feel really great. And but that's how I got my break. I had no formal voice training whatsoever. I kind of went into it blind, but had good direction and was able to pull it off.
Actually, I got in it through Amanda and also working for manga and begging a lot. I met Amanda and I was like, you know, I'm a big fan, how you do this and stuff. And she was like the first person to give me a chance and actually let me get in the booth. And after that, I was like, okay, I really want to do this. So when we started working on Street Fighter Alpha, I knew the director of the studio, Yutaka, and Tracy. I sent him a very bad, rough demo tape, and he was like, yeah, I'll tell you what was wrong with it. So then he did. And for like the next week, I would call him and say, well, what do you think of this? And say some little stuff on the answer machine. Don't do that, that's like harassment. And finally he was like, okay, well, I'll give you a chance. And going back to the one thing about how many takes it takes to do a line, when I was working on Evangelion with Amanda, there were a couple of times where I think she probably thought I was going to like tear the booth apart because I got really frustrated. And she'd be like, you know what? It's okay. Just keep talking.
Take it to the movie now.
Well, don't say that if your parents are.
Like he'd be in the booth, he was like a bull in a china shop. He'd start tearing stuff up and...
See, they'll cast you in there, there's a giant monster movie.
I cheated on to get into voice acting. I worked with Rob Mungo, who was the original Mousse guy, and he's been in a ton of ADV titles. And he'd been doing some work for ADV, and he said you really should. As a stand-up comic, Rob and I worked together a lot. He said you should call these guys. And I called Matt's assistant, and he goes, we don't need any voice actor guys right now. And I go, oh, but you need females. He said, yeah. So, you know, Amanda being an actress we were dating at the time, I said, well, and I got her an audition basically, right? And then I just tagged along and crashed the audition. So, it was just kind of like I was hanging in the lobby, and she did her audition, and then she kind of. Matt asked her, is he here to audition? And she's like, well, they didn't want him to. Yeah, bring him in. It was a horrible audition. I had cold, and I sucked, you know? I did. But he heard something in my voice, and he let me scream and die in the original Burnout. I got to scream and die, and he let me do a lot of fun stuff in that. And so from that, things just started building up from there, and I got a bigger and better role. But yeah, I mean, no hard to set rule. And I'm not classically trained. A lot of these guys on stage are classically trained actors. I'm a stand-up comic. That's how that's how I was trained. That's how I started. All right, the second sort of thing.
As you can pretty much glean from Jason's story, I got into voice acting by sleeping with a stand-up comic.
You were slept with a stand-up comic. Except it was myself. No, I'm kidding. I used to do stand-up. My story is what?
I could be done.
My story is a little. Yeah, my story is a little. Excuse me?
Were you eating cheese back then?
No, I started eating cheese after Dragon Ball Z because the first few takes I did, they were like, would you mind eating some cheese? And on the voice actor questionnaire, it had said, cheese products you like. And then I checked up the ones I liked, and it said cheese products you're not allergic to. And I could eat all of them, so that got the job right away. No,
Who was the director? Wallace and Gromit?
The Wallace and Gromit.
Smell me.
I love Wallace and Gromit. Oh, yeah. My start is a little stranger. I was in music. I was a classical musician, playing orchestra, yada yada yada. And on weekends I was in Marionette. I worked at a puppet theater in Dallas, and it was a pretty complicated puppet theater. It wasn't like little dinky little, you know. It was a complex stage show, and so we voiced everything in the studio, and then I'd be controlling a puppet, hearing my own voice, even though I wasn't doing voice at the time. And so that's where I kind of got my start. And then a friend of mine saw an ad for a paper. In the paper, it said wanted voice actors for National Cartoon, and I called the ad, made an appointment, went in, auditioned for about 12 parts because we were replacing the Canadian cast of Dragon Ball Z when they moved to Texas. So I had to mimic a lot of voice actors. I thought I nailed Captain Ginyu and Yamcha, And I thought I was going to have to get you, and they called me and said, Sean, you're going to be Goku. I'm like, I'm going to be Goku. He's Goku. I'm going to be Captain Ginyu. I said, sure, I didn't do it because I swear. And as those of you who watch Dragon Ball Z, Captain Ginyu has not been on the show for like for a long time. I can't even I don't even remember how it goes because I'm so used to the Achilles. What's that?
The rock, paper, scissors thing.
Rock, paper, scissors. Oh, when they go 1, 2, 3. When they do the, yeah. That is such a funny scene. I'll later. So then I got the part, I showed up to work, and I'm walking in the studios, and I saw this Goku picture. I'm like, hey, it's good to be the Goku. Yeah. And then, you know, as Amanda was saying, it's very cathartic to do screaming, and Dragon Ball Z is so full of screaming. And I had a lot of stress in my life at the time. We didn't have a compressor in the booth, so I was blowing mics, blowing compressors, all just screaming my brains out, just going, this is great, I love it. Screaming, it's awesome, I love it. It's awesome. Yes, you were going to... oh, wait, please don't.
I actually don't voice She channeled.
That's I got it. Sorry. And I'll take it. Sorry, I think you're wanting to get out of here shortly. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, well, mine is Facebook. I was going to college. I was a theater major in university. I studied at Transcend Stage and stuff like that. And my brother stole my car and led to a whole bunch of series of events. A long story. But the whole point is that a friend of mine was an intern at the fair. He came over. He's like, hey, we need people. I'm like, do you know anybody who's out? I'm like, hi, welcome to me and my going to theater. And so I went to the audition that was Lotus for. I thought I didn't get it. And I just thought it would be cool, and I went in, and 6 months later, they actually called me back and told me that I got the role. But it was just an audition on that, somebody who was working there. And who was the person who was questioning?
It was a girl, she was an item.
Yes, girl right here. What's the question?
I just want to know, did you do any voice acting for the English dubbed movies?
Just movie 4, just Lord Slug. First 3 were the old cast. The guy, not you, because the guy behind you. Then I'll.
Thanks everybody for coming.
You know who was cast for Bob and Eve? I just found out.
Bobby is Duncan Drennan. Duncan Drennan.